Hey there. All right, so today we're going to continue two-step radical or square root equations, except this time, this is going to be the second part. This time we're going to look at when the additional step is inside of your function. So that's going to mean that it's either inside parentheses before it's squared, or it's all underneath a square root, okay? Just remember, well, let's look at one step first. Say for instance, we have one that looks like this. X plus 2, all in parentheses squared, equals 9. This is inside your function, as opposed to if you had x squared plus 2 equals 9. This is outside your function. It's not connected with that x squared. And here, because of those parentheses being around x and 2, they're together. So this is why we call this inside the function, outside the function. All right, so the only difference is that we're going to do it backwards from how we did the ones that were outside the function. So in these, we're going to take the square root or square both sides first. So because this one has a square, the opposite of a square is square root. So that means we're going to take the square root on both sides first. So if we take the square root on this side, that square will cancel, and we will be left with x plus 2. If we take the square root on this side, this is where it gets a little tricky sometimes. Remember, the square root of 9 is not 9, is plus or minus 3, because this 3 squared is 9, but negative 3 squared is also 9. So what this means is we're going to have two answers. So we're going to break this up, and we have to look at x plus 2 equals 3, and we have to look at x plus 2 equals negative 3. Okay? Remember, there's always going to be a positive and a negative version when we take a square root. So on this one, if we subtract 2 on each side, 3 minus 2 is 1. On this side, if we subtract 2 on each side, negative 3 minus 2 is negative 5, because it's going to get more negative. So these are our answers, 1 and negative 5. Okay? Let's try another one just like this. And don't worry if, you can watch this over and over again, or you can reach out to me if you need help. These notes, all right below this video, like always. All right, let's try another one. Let's say I have x minus 4, in parentheses, squared, equals 25. First step, because this is inside the function, and it's a square, the opposite of a square is a square root. So we're going to take the square root on this side, cancel those out, we're left with x minus 4. Then take the square root on this side. Square root of 25 is positive or negative 5. So we write positive or negative 5. All right, so now we have to look at both answers. Please don't get in front of the video today, Kitty. Are you going to teach math? He's not good at math. So remember, we're going to split this into both. So we're going to look at x minus 4 equals 5, and we're going to look at x minus 4 equals negative 5. Gotta have both answers. So on this side, when we add 4, 5 plus 4, we get x equals 9. And there's one of our answers. On this side, when we add 4 to both sides, I can't talk today, sorry, we get x equals negative 5 plus 4. So we have negative 5, and we're going to add 4, so we're going to get closer to 0. We're going to end up with negative 1. And those are our two answers. All right. Now, we did the harder version first. Let's do the other kind. So what if it starts as a square root, right? So if it starts as a square root, such as this one, x plus 20 equals 6. That is different. This is inside the function because it's all under that square root. This is different than this because of what we do first. This is what we did last week where we first had to subtract 20 on each side. This is what we're doing this week. The 20 is underneath that square root, therefore we have to take care of that square root first. What's the opposite of taking a square root? Squaring. So we're going to square both sides to get that square root canceled out. So on here, we're left with x plus 20. Over here, 6 squared is 36. These are much more easier because you only have to deal with one answer. So now we can subtract 20 on each side, and we would get x equals 16. All right? All right. Let's do one more. Say I have x minus 7, square root of x minus 7, equals 2. Okay? First thing we're going to do on both sides is square it so that we can get rid of that square root. So here on this side, we're left with x minus 7. On this side, 2 squared is 4. Now to get x completely by itself, we add 7 to both sides. 7 plus 4 is 11. All right, so check out the notes right below this video. Let me know if you have questions, and you can give the assignment a try. Good luck.